Prison's a unique place. And the men are more imprisoned by what they do to themselves than what the guards do to them and what their sentence has done to them.
I was introduced to try this new stuff, and I find a lot more inner peace with centering prayer. I find more dignity within myself.
Centering prayer has given me the opportunity to see that, yes, I can be happy in prison. That just because physically I'm confined, that's mentally and spiritually I don't have to be confined.
Through a form of meditation called centering prayer, these men have become less angry and more easy to work with. More than that, they have discovered, while in prison, a freedom that they had never known before.
About 5 years ago, there was 4 of us doing different forms of meditation. We understood that there was a real power in meditation, a tangible power. And we wanted to do something to help the lifers get out of prison because they've been in for 20, 25, 30 years with no hope of going home. So we thought that this meditation might have the power. And it just so happened that I picked up a book called Open Mind, Open Heart. And I looked in the back of this book, and there was a format for a group. And we set up a group by that format.
The book was written by this man, Father Thomas Keating, a Trappist monk who, with 2 other monks, distilled a method of prayer called centering prayer to renew an ancient practice of meditation.
We are here so we can come home.
17 men began meeting in the prison chapel, with a volunteer, Mike Kelly, serving as sponsor and bringing in Father Keating's videos and books.
And they're so grateful because of just having a quiet time, a time out that just fills the hole in the soul.
Then the Southern California chapter of Contemplative Outreach, a group begun by Keating, held a workshop at Folsom for the prisoners on how to do centering prayer.
And that's really where it started taking off, with not only the individuals that came here, but it started going out of this chapel out onto the yard. In that meeting, there was every race represented, there was every gang represented, there was every known, probably, religion represented in that seminar. Individuals started learning centering prayer and started sharing it with others.
The instruction in this form of meditation continued as they listened to tapes of Father Keating.
In the practice of centering prayer, we let go of our ordinary psychological awareness and turn inwardly to the center of our being and to our spiritual faculties of intellect and the will to God. And this leads to a certain interior freedom in daily life.
Centering prayer is a practice that transcends religious boundaries.
I have yet to find anything in centering prayer that conflicts with anybody's religion. And that's one of the reasons I think that that openness and that sharing that it brings us is something that everybody on this yard can relate to.
Welcome back.
Father Keating was happy to accept invitations from the prisoners to visit with them and learn how centering prayer has been growing inside Folsom Prison.
You know, it takes one walk across the yard to notice that there's a very small pathway that you can actually walk without encroaching on somebody's territory. That's like the free space in between. It's much the same, I've noticed, with religions. Over the years that we've been doing centering prayer here at Folsom, I've asked the new peer counselors as they graduate, what is it that brought them to centering prayer? What is it that made them want to come to this group? Because primarily the people that come to the Contemplative Fellowship of Folsom are not the normal people that would hang around the chapel, but more the people that are on the yard activities and the activities on the tiers. And the one thing that they have said in common is the fact that there's no divisions. There's no religious divisions, there's no racial divisions, and it's not something that's enforced because it's a very open group, but it's just something that's happened. Why is that?
Well,
Why?
Well,
when you have a group of people who are accessing the inner room, that is interior silence, it doesn't matter what religion they are or no religion, there's a sense of comradeship or of bonding at that level.
Let one another know that you're there for them and you care for them. And I think this is what centering prayer does above all things that I've seen in my 20 years in the joint, is that it heals the lines that separate the men. And I think it's that Spirit of God reaching out and touching the Spirit of God that dwells in another man.
16 years ago when I was here last time, I never seen the inside of this church here. It took a year after I was here this time to step in there because of all my friends that went in there. The meditative techniques through centering prayer has taught me a great deal. The most important one was tolerance.
I have found the best, most graceful moments being silence, and this is the most caring moments.
I found that for 20 minutes, at least once a week, every week, first year or so, that I was at peace, not only with myself, but with the 50 men who sat down in a room, no matter what they believed or what color they were, what their education levels were.
Sometimes even our family forget about us in here in this place, you know, but I want to thank you for coming in here and also for teaching us centering prayer.
The difficulties you experience in the prayer, the unloading, the dark nights if they take place, you really don't go through this alone. All humanity goes with you when you are relating to God at this level.
Centering prayer brought me back to my inner self, and now I can be me, Fernando, and I thank you for that.
It worked, man, and it took all that madness and all that stuff that was clouded in my mind, and I just gave it back to God.
The prison is full of people who are quick to anger, who are very judgmental.
In her work at Folsom, Tony Carter has seen the benefits of centering prayer in the life of the prison for both the staff and the inmates.
It's not just the words they speak, it's the behaviors and the actions that they display after having been involved in this practice. They seem to be more stable. I seem to be more stable. So it is something that is for all of us. It allows a person to think before they react, and that is vital in the prison environment.
We're grateful for this program. You know, it's a place to vent and a place to, you know, get back to reality.
And it's something that can be practiced at any point during a day. Given that we are in a prison environment with perceived chaos all around us and constant turmoil, constant conflict, being able to take a moment and come back to that place of peace and love makes all the difference in the world.
I unload the cares of the world that are upon me today in this psychological shell we walk in. Take this, and I give it to him, and in that I can relax and say, all of that's gone now. And I can sit and relax. When I begin the centering, I find that things are peeled away. It reaches down to the next level of good or bad or ugliness or whatever's there next, trying to get to this oneness with my Maker.
Redemption is the transformation of people into inner freedom and peace and unconditional love. So congratulate you in getting started and established in the journey.
You've given not only us, but the world a great gift. Not only for the ones sitting in this room, but for the guys who learned centering prayer here and got out. They're not coming back. And that is one of the greatest attributes that our world can have. Prisons are 80% of the people come back. And I think only 10% of our group has come back. And that's a remarkable thing.
I have yet to discover anything as valuable as meditation and in the form of centering prayer.
Introducing centering prayer and its benefits to prisons can be as simple as distributing to all inmates a small pocket-sized guide on how to do this meditative practice.
A wonderful little pamphlet was designed and developed with inmates in Texas institutions as well as California institutions, and can be obtained through the Contemplative Outreach Program.
Wardens and staff across the country are currently getting this pamphlet into the hands of individual inmates. And volunteers have also been instrumental in helping to bring centering prayer into prisons and jails. In many of them, centering prayer in groups is facilitated simply by setting aside time for those who want to do it right after existing programs, such as anger management groups and 12-step recovery meetings. In 12-step programs, centering prayer can assist with the 11th step, which is to seek a deeper relationship with God through prayer and meditation.
Many people in AA have thought of centering prayer as a significant contribution, if not one of the best ways of implementing the 11th step.
What works at Folsom might not work at other institutions, and that's okay. I would encourage you to explore areas where you can be creative in deciding how to use centering prayer in your institution.
This does work. It's a real thing.
For anybody else that has trials and tribulations and people that trying to get adjusted to the system and stuff, man, try this out because it really works.